Marcos? Are you okay? You haven't uploaded in a month.
I lost control of my life. What are you fucking me? I asked you guys on October 28th of 2024 to ask me my Kamen Rider opinions, and I have to answer it 100% honestly. I didn't like how it came out. Mostly because I have this better setup anyway, so I'm gonna redo it, along with some general Q&As that I asked the other day. I'm gonna try to speed things along since there are a ton of questions, so sorry if I don't get to everybody, but there were a few that got repeated, so I'm just gonna go through with what I have. Outside of Kamen Rider, what's another Tokusatsu franchise you enjoy? Well, you just specified Kamen Rider, so there's Super Sentai, Ultraman, Godzilla. Of course, my answer is not going to be as easy as that. I'm also not going to say Power Rangers or Doctor Who, but of course, if you follow my channel, my easy go-to answer is going to be the Garo series. Outside of Kamen Rider, I just love everything Garo related. That's why I've been trying to make yearly Garo videos. I got through the first 2 seasons, and then this year I want to go through the Zero series plus the 3rd series from the Koga timeline. So yeah, I just love Garo to death. It is just like my thing if Kamen Rider wasn't already a thing. What a weird sentence. What are your favorite and least favorite Kamen Rider weapons? I don't know. I'm not a weapons guy. I could not tell you what any weapons are throughout the history of Kamen Rider. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Mint? Yes, because it's green, but also I really like Rocky Road. What's your favorite suit in Kamen Rider? I've been saying for years that I love the Mugen Damashii suit from Kamen Rider Ghost, and with how many years have passed since the Reiwa season, I'm also going to say 02. I think that's a really pretty, sleek, amazing upgrade for 01. Cross Saber has actually shot up way up there for like one of my favorite suits. I'd even say it's right along there with Ghost Mugen Damashii, mostly for story reasons, but I also just do like that suit in general. A lot of people say it's lazy, but you know, it's actually one of the most expensive suits Kamen Rider's ever made. I know that's probably ironic to a lot of you, and that probably still won't change your mind on how the suit looks because it's visual, but I still think it's a very pretty suit, even if it is a recolor. Who is your favorite villain in general? Oh man, my biases are probably going to come out here. Yodona is probably my favorite Tokusatsu villain ever. I know that might be a big surprise because she only appears for like the last 20 episodes of Cure Major, but amazing design, amazing character. She is everything that Kai wasn't in Kamen Rider Den-O, and he's my least favorite Kamen Rider villain ever, so at least Super Sentai can do it right. Am I right, guys? What do you think of Evolt, and which form do you like the most? I really, really like Evolt as a villain. He is just so much fun. I love when villains are having fun. And you know what? You know when he just sits there and he's like, yo, that's it. That's all you need. I don't think he needs his own section for me to say. He is one of my favorite Kamen Rider villains ever. I love pretty much everything about him. As far as forms go, I think they're all pretty equal to me, whether it's the Dragon, Rabbit, or Phase 1. I think they're all pretty cool. Black Hole, I don't mind. It does look a little weird to me, but I don't really mind it at the end of the day. You could say like his latest Outsiders form is pretty cool, but again, I think they're all pretty equal to me. What would be your perfect Kamen Rider season? What would be the main theme, and what would the powers be based on? I've always wanted a fashion-based Kamen Rider. I think that would be its main motif. As you can probably tell, I love my jackets, I love my suits, I love my fashion, so I would love something based on that. I know it's kind of like a weird thing, but so are fruits, and look how that came out. What do you think is the best Tokusatsu design tropes? Oh my goodness. I love when there's helmets within helmets. Super Sentai is like my favorite examples of this. Ho-Oh Soldier, maybe you might not notice, but his helmet is actually within another helmet. I just think that is, it just looks really cool. King Dugdead from King Oger, oh my gosh. Oh, and recently with Gav, the president, his helmet is also within like a big octopus helmet, and it looks really cool, both inside and out. So yeah, that's just, I could gush about that forever. I love that kind of design trope. If you can make any of the current generation's main riders' side forms their main forms, which one would it be and why? I can't really think of anything. Mostly because I think main forms work because they're not the side forms. You know, they went through so many iterations and design docs and all this just so that the base form could work on its own. So switching it out, I don't know, it doesn't really feel right to me because I know Saber, 01, Revise, Geet, Scav, I know them as their base form. I wouldn't really change it out, so non-answer or whatever, but I wouldn't really choose a side form. Are the chains on Kiva's suits real? Technically, yes, but they're not heavy. What concepts from past Rider shows would you like to see done again? Video games, maybe? Mostly because I want to see a Rider show dive deeper into video games, because when it comes to X8, it's pretty surface level. What'd be your ideal episode count for a Rider season? I think Ultraman has a pretty perfect count, so I'm gonna say around 23 to 25. I know a lot of Rider shows would be much better if their episode count was cut in half. Some go on forever, some I wish could go on longer, but for the most part, I think I'd rather see it around the 25 episode mark. Is there a Kamen Rider season that you believe gets too much criticism? Not that I can really think of. Maybe Geets? I don't know. I don't really see that much criticism of it on my timeline, so I'll go with Geets. This person asked 4 questions, so I'm just gonna go with the first one. Do you feel like there was ever a season that was too toyetic? No. What are your favorite Kamen Rider films? Oh, easily Heisei Generations, the first one. I love it to death. It had like the perfect amount of returning characters, story-wise, action-wise. Oh, yeah, definitely Heisei Generations the first. Oh, of course, Movie Wars Megamax. I really like that, the crossover, O's double Forze. I mean, how can you not? That's like one of the coolest Rider movies of all time. Oh, here's a random one. Project G4 from Kamen Rider Agito. I know as much as I didn't like Agito generally, I think G4 was a ginormous highlight to me. I loved the story. I loved the Dark Rider that was in there. It was really, really good. Also throw up True Ending in there from X8. Oh wow, I've mentioned X8 quite a bit now. I mostly like the story of True Ending. Everything else is like whatever, like the movie form is like whatever. But the villain and the overall story or surrounding him, I think is just way up there that it has to be one of my favorites. What Kamen Rider season do you have the most criticisms of? Easily Kiva. I'm not gonna go over that, I already have a video about it. Worst Rider in your favorite series? The Rider that Kirya became in Hibiki. If you know, you know. What do you think of Outsiders? Oh man, Fraudco's on watch here. I'm not gonna cover Outsiders and Legacy of 01. Have you seen how crazy that show gets? It needs to be on its own video. It is insane. Otherwise, it's whatever. Do you like chicken nuggets and mac and cheese together or separate? Separate. I'm not the type of guy who wouldn't eat their food if they're touching or whatever, I just prefer them separate. What would you consider to be the closest to a perfect season of Kamen Rider? Easily Kamen Rider Build and Amazons. Should there be more BL/GL in Toku? There's already a lot. But sure, let's have more. Opinion on Kamen Rider Kuga not having a secondary writer. I still like the show. What's your go-to takeout order? Alternatively, favorite dish to cook at home? Pizza, and I like making chicken dip. Thoughts on Yuya Takahashi? Oh boy. Your timeline might be different than mine, but I see more people hate on Yuya Takahashi, and understandably so. Some of the writing, especially for the female characters, ugh. Favorite non-Toku shows / movies? This might sound crazy, or not crazy depending on who you are, but I'm actually a big fan of horror movies. I will watch any kind of horror movie, cheesy, slasher, elevated horror, some random indie horror from Japan from like the 40s. I will watch it all. I love horror movies. I used to hate them to death, but oh my gosh, I will watch anything. I love, although my favorites, I can't really tell you. I think it tends to fluctuate depending on the day, the mood. So, but with TV shows, I loved Breaking Bad. I think that's definitely like my top 3. Is it weird to say Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is one of my most repeatedly watched non-Toku shows? As for my third favorite, insert whatever is popular at the moment. I've been watching Dexter New Blood recently, so I guess that'll fit there, but I watch tons of things that aren't Toku. I'd have to think here on the spot for a while to give you an answer. Most attractive Tokusatsu character, all of them. If you could plug yourself in any Kamen Rider series, what series would you plug yourself into? We're already in a Kamen Rider series. You know, Kamen Rider Heisei Generations Forever takes place in a world much like ours, so maybe we are in a Kamen Rider show right now. Ghost is good, but people are just too negative about it. I agree? I don't know. Do you like Kiva? No. Which Kamen Rider do you think has the lowest credit score? Arata Kagami from Kamen Rider Kabuto. I don't know why, it just seems like he would. Your favorite and least favorite Kamen Rider vehicle? Much like the weapons question, I don't know. I know how they look like, but the dirt bike from 01. Favorite Saber episode? There's way too many to count, but my goodness. Cross Saber's debut is probably going to be way up there. Even the final few episodes are up there. I really like Dai Shinji's debut episode. Oh man, I love Espada's return episode where he explains what happened to him. Gosh, that's probably one of the greatest Tokusatsu episodes ever. I have way too many. Sorry, Key. I know this is probably not an answer, but what if I say all of them? Except for the first 12. Which Kamen Rider would most likely have a first Sona in private? I feel like Ace would. Not just because he's a fox, but I feel like he just would. Boxers or briefs? Boxers. Yaoi Jujubi or Yuri Jujubi? Fujo Jujubi. Do you like Kamen Rider Geats as a whole? Yeah, it's good. What's the best Outsiders original rider suit? See, there's one of the few things I actually know about Outsiders because it gets posted on my timeline every time one of them gets a new suit, which would have been a great surprise, especially Garen King form. It is gorgeous. I would have loved to have seen it without being spoiled. What season of Kamen Rider do you think would do well as an adaptation in America? I've actually made a video about this before, and I said build. I still think it's build. When will you exercise? Right now. If a new Kamen Rider game was to be made, what kind of game would you want? We already had Memory of Heroes, which is pretty much what I wanted, an action and adventure game, so my next thing would be... This is gonna sound completely odd and random, but Seigi no Keifu on the PlayStation was really cool. It was a great idea incorporating a puzzle Resident Evil type of adventure with Agito, which I thought was really neat. I would like to see that again in the modern day. Favorite Showa writer? I've said for years I love Z-Cross. I could go with Z-Cross still. Although if you don't want to go with that, I think Ichimonju is pretty cool. I think he's just one of my favorite writers in general. Shigeru Joe is also a pretty great one. I think that's it. Kamen Rider fans when Showa era, am I right? My bad. Who do you think is stronger, Decade or Geo? As much as power scaling can be annoying to some, I'm personally a big fan of it. I don't take it seriously whatsoever, but I think it is fun to discuss power scaling, especially in such a grand show like Kamen Rider. You would think they would be evenly matched because Decade could transform into Geo and Geo could transform into Decade and they could both become Oma Geo and whatever. But I'm definitely gonna go with Geo because he is already Oma Geo. Like even as base form Geo, he could have the powers of Oma Geo if you piss him off. So he could just instantly become Oma Geo and obliterate the world. Decade, he would actually have to manually pull out a card and stick it in and transform, so he has to take at least like a couple of seconds to transform. Meanwhile with Oma Geo, he could just become it like at an instant. Kamen Rider Saber has one of the best concepts in Kamen Rider, but their execution was bad. O or X? If you asked me this a few years ago, I'll definitely say O, but now I'm saying X because I rewatched it with my wife. I really like Saber now. I understand why you guys loved it too. I apologize. What do you think about Hibiki? One of my favorite Rider seasons. I made a whole video about it. Is Gotchard the most powerful main Kamen Rider in the Reiwa era? Not at all, it's not even close. What do you think about the Kamen Rider Union Arena collab? Oh wow, you can really tell this is old. It's cool. Wish America got it. Which Kamen Rider season started off so rough at the start and became good till the end? Saber. There's no bad Kamen Rider, just amazing and good? I'm gonna assume this question is asking in good faith and not trying to do a gotcha moment here, but whenever I say all Kamen Rider is good, you know there's a second part to that, right? All Kamen Rider is good to someone. I personally don't like Kamen Rider Kiva. However, I understand people do like Kamen Rider Kiva. People can consider it one of their favorite Kamen Riders of all time. So when I say all Kamen Rider is good, That right there is very subjective. In the same way that you can like and dislike things, all Kamen Rider is good is not an objective statement. All Kamen Rider is good to someone, you could say. Every season is liked by someone. Every season is someone's favorite. Because I could tell you, and me personally, I think Kamen Rider Kiva is pretty bad. But I'm not gonna shove that opinion down someone's throat and tell them, no, you have to dislike Kiva. That's why I say, all Kamen Rider is good to someone. All Kamen Rider can be good. All Kamen Rider can be amazing. To someone. Is Revise good? No. Now, if you excuse me, I have a 01 video to hop to. This isn't my wallpaper, I just used the picture here. My real wallpaper is a Starman from Earthbound.